Hello and welcome back to Coding with T. In today's tutorial, we are going to learn how to create the brand screens. We are going to create the complete CRUD of the brand screens. So let's get started with today's tutorial. If we open the dashboard, which is already created, if you're new, you can watch the complete playlist link in the description, and also you can download the complete code. For today's tutorial, if you open the brands, this is the screen that we are going to design. So first we have to add the brands in the menu. Then we're going to create this CRUD. Currently this table will be static, but we are going to learn how to add this table. In the recent tutorial of the categories, we created this header for the brands table or for all the tables, in which we have a search bar and also we have a create new brand, and we also make sure that this should be a responsive header. So after that, you can see we have a brand over here with the image and name of the brand. Then we have all the categories of the brand. Currently they do not have any categories. After that, we have the featured or not featured. If the brand is featured, we will add it. If it is not featured, we will display an empty heart icon. Then we have a date of the brand, and then we have actions, edit and delete. When you're going to delete it, this is what we're going to see. And also when we're going to edit this, we have option over here, which is the brand name is Nike. We have all these categories and we can select any of them. Then we have the brand icon over here, and this is the featured brand. So this is again a form that we are going to design for the update. And also if we're going to create new brand, we can add a name over here, and we can also select different type of categories for this brand. Let's say we're going to create a brand of Nike again. Then Nike has the sports category, it has sports equipment, so it has shirts, then it has shoes, what else, clothes, and if there is anything else. So we can add this brand in these categories, and whenever user is going to select any of the category, he will be able to see all the brands of it. So then we can add specific thumbnail, select the folder of the brands. In this we have these images. We can also add different images from here, and once added, click on this add button. Let's say we are going to select this image, click on add, and you can see that image over here, and we can mark this as featured or not. So this is what we are going to create. So let's get started. We are inside our e-commerce admin panel, in which first of all, to create a menu in the sidebar. So first of all, in the routes, go to the routes.dart, and in here you have to add 3 URLs. If you are new here and if you don't know about these routes, I suggest you to watch the video or the playlist section which is related to routes and navigations. Okay, in here you can see I have created brand screen, create brand screen, and edit brand screen URLs. So these are the 3 URLs which will be displayed in the web URL bar, and down below in the sidebar menu items, I have added the same brands over here as we done previously for the categories. Once added, go to the app routes.dart. In here we have to declare these 3 pages, and we have to add all these troutes.brands, create brand and edit brand, which is inside this troutes class. And because these are static, we do not need any instance of these classes. So now our application knows that we have to open this type of page. Whenever this route is selected, this page should be opened, which is the brand screens. If this one is selected, we have to open the create brand screen and edit brand screen respectively. And these are the middlewares that we created for the additional security. You can again watch the routes and navigation videos for this. So let's close it. Let's go to common widgets and head to the layouts sidebar, open the sidebar.dart. In here you can see I have added a new line, which is T menu item. We have the route of brands that we created with the T routes.brands. Icon is this one using icon X, and item name is brands. So whenever this brand will be clicked using this T route, this T item is going to get this route and it is going to make it clickable, will display the specific page. So again, if you're new, you can watch the sidebar videos as well, which is created. Each and every concept is already taught, so that's why I'm not going to go into that detail again, but we have to create that. So once the sidebar is created, let's close these things, go to the features shops. In the screens, we have the brand folder or the brand package over here. So inside this brand package, as we done previously for the dashboard and categories, we have 3 things or the 3 screens over here, which is first we are going to display all brands, then we have create brand screen and edit brand screen. Then each screen has the same pattern. First of all, we will have the base class, which is brands.dart, which is going to have the main screen, and it is using our T site template. And for the desktop, we have brands desktop screen widget. For the tablet, we have the tablet widget, and for the mobile, we have mobile widget. So all the responsive screen widgets are created over here. So we just have to declare the layouts here, but we are not going to create separate widgets for each of these widgets. Rather, we are going to add all widgets required over here, and the table will go inside this one so that it is going to be treated as a separate table, and we just have to call this table in the desktop, mobile, and tablet. So inside the branch desktop, it is again because it is the same. So I'm not going to repeat it. We have first of all scaffold with a single child scroll view. Then we have the site paddings, which is t sizes dot default space declared inside the t sizes class, which is 24.0. Then we have a column. So first of all, we need to create the breadcrumbs. Again, the t breadcrumbs is created in a separate widget tutorial. So make sure to watch it if you are new here. So if you created this breadcrumbs heading, it is going to receive the heading breadcrumb items and return to previous screen option. So we pass the heading as brands and items as brands because we are not passing any route, so it is not clickable. Then we have the table body. So first of all, we have the table header that we created in the previous tutorial. Again, this is the table header. Button text is create new brand, and whenever the button will be pressed, we're going to redirect user to the brand screen, the create brand screen using get.toNamed with again the same route, which is create brand. We are going to redirect to the brand screen, then add some space, and now we're going to create this brand table. Okay, now inside this brand table, which is located in this table, data table.dart, I have created the name with the brand table, and in this brand table, we are going to create the columns using our TPaginatedDataTable that we created. So we have two mandatory things, columns and source. Source is basically all the rows that are going to displayed inside this table. So let me add this data. So I added the minimum width as 700, table height, data row height. This is the row height, means how the one individual row height is going to be. You can increase or decrease this as well. And in the columns, we're going to add four things. First of all, we have a brand in which we have the brand image and name of the brand. Then the second column will contain all the categories or the selected categories of this brand. Then if it is featured or not, date of the brand when it is created, and actions. So all the rows will go inside the brand rows, because if you see the source, it is going to be a data table source, and we already learned all type of tables in the table section. So if I'm going to go to the table source, inside the table source, we have the brand rows, and it is extending with the data table source, which is required to create all the rows. And to create a single row, we have the get row, in which we're going to pass the index to check which row it is. And then we have is row count approximate, which is false. Row count is 20 because we are just designing this. Selected row count is 0 because these are the static values. So now first I have to declare or create the row, and inside the row we are going to use the cells to create all the 5 columns or fill all the data of the columns, and I'm going to use the data row 2 for this. So let's create the first cell for the first column. So this one is going to be same as we created in the categories in the data cell, because we have to create the data cells for each column. So first one is the data cell, in that I have a row so that we can create image along with the text. So this is the image with a width and height of 50. We are using T-rounded image. You can use any simple image. So then we have the padding. Image is the static image. Then we have image type is asset. But later on, when we're going to get the data from Firebase, Firestore, then definitely we're going to make it network image, and this image will be coming from the network. Then we have the border radius, background color, then some space. And after that, we have a static text. Max lines is 2, overflow is ellipses to make it responsive again, because you see it is wrapped with the expanded, so that whenever the space is shrinked or the smaller than the text size, then it is going to take the two space or the two lines and whatever the space available. And after that, it is going to make the text, rest of the text will be ellipses. Now let's create the second cell over here. The second cell will be of categories. In this cell, to create the categories, first of all, I need to add some space using padding, and then I'm going to add single child scroll view. The reason to do this, because we have the limited height of one individual row, right? So when we have different categories or lot of categories, because we are using tip here to display one single category. Currently these are the static categories, and also the each category have its own padding, so that we can add some space around each category and all the chips are located separately. And for that, we are using the wrap widget so that whenever the width is going to exceed its limit, it is going to wrap to the next line. So when we have multiple lines, then to display all the categories, we need a single child scroll view because we have a static height of the row and we cannot calculate that height dynamically because different rows will have different heights. And to display the proper text, we have to go for this single child scroll view so that it can scroll and its direction is vertical. So I will show you that in a minute. You can see this direction. If the device of the mobile, if currently the device is mobile device, then we are going to make the axis to vertical. Otherwise, we are going to make the axis to the horizontal so that the wraps can work in the horizontal way from left to right. But if it is a mobile device, to save the space, we are going to stack them from top to bottom. After this cell, we are going to create the third cell, which is a simple icon in this case because currently we're not adding any logic to display the filled herd or unfilled herd. So the color is primary. Then we have the next date and time with the text widget datetime.now.toString. We are going to display the actual date time, but currently it's datetime.now. And then the last one using the T table action buttons, we have on edit pressed and on delete pressed. So if you see this widget, it's a simple row widget. If these are the three Boolean variables, and by default you can see view and edit and delete is enabled, but view is false. And if the view is false, you will not be able to see the icon button over here, but we are going to see these two icons and they have their own on pressed. So by using on edit press and on delete press, we are going to handle these events. And whenever the edit press is going to be called, we are going to open the screen of edit brand. And by this way, we are done with our design of table. So let's run it. Okay, our application is running. Let's try to log in. And we are inside our admin panel. And over here, you can see the brands. When we are going to click on this, it should display the brand screens. And yes, it is displaying the brand screens. We cannot see the images because I think we do not have that image. But at the top, first of all, we have the breadcrumbs with the brands as title, and then we have a header, which is create new brand. Then we have a search over here. After that, we have the brands table with the 10-20 records. We can go to the next screen. We can go to the previous screen. So we have the date time over here. All are featured. You can see these categories, but when I'm going to make it smaller, so let's reduce it to the tablet mode. And you can see it is currently working fine on the tablet. Let's try to shrink it further. And you can see now featured is closer to the categories. And this is the time when it is going to be. Now you see it is going to shrink to the smaller space. And now we can scroll this. You see the categories are scrollable. Now let's try to go further for the mobile design. And now again, these are scrollable. And when it is going to reach to the mobile size, which is this one, you can see now these categories are stacked in the vertical and we have the scroll option. So also we have the scroll option over here. All the data is looking perfectly in the mobile device. We can search, we can click on create brand. So now it's time to do the form or create the form of the create new brand. Now to create the brand, we have to again follow the same pattern, create brand. The main screen is using T-site template. We have desktop, tablet, and mobile screens widget. So these three widgets are declared over here in this folder, desktop, mobile, and tablet. And then the main widget, which is the form widget, is inside the widgets. So we're going to use this same, we're going to design the one single form and we're going to use that form in all these three different layouts. So let's call the desktop. And in here, again, very simple, scaffold, single child scroll view, site padding. Then in the column, we have the same widget, which is TBreadcrumb's heading, just added one another feature, which is return to previous icon so that we can view it is true. Heading is create brand, breadcrumbs is the route, which is the previous route, which is troutes.category so that we can go to the previous route. And this is simple text, which is create brand. And then this is the form that we are going to design. So same way, we have these mobile and tablet options. I guess we forgot to add the return to previous for our mobile and also for our tablet. So let's add that. Okay. So that we can see the back arrow. And whenever that back arrow is going to be pressed, we will lead back to the main category or the main screen, which is the category screen. Okay, so we have the create brand form widget, and in the build we have the T-rounded container to add the white box space, and I have added the width as 500 so that it cannot take all the space available for the desktop screen. or for whatever the screen size is. So it is going to take the 500 width. Then in the padding, we have the padding, and now let's create a form over here. Okay, I have created the form, and inside the form we have a column which is going to have the cross axis to start so that we can align all the elements to the left side. So let's first add the heading. I have added a small space at the top, then heading with the headline medium, and then again a space. Now let's create a text form field. So text form field is currently do not have any controllers or validators because we just need the design. So decoration with the input decoration. Label text is brand name. This is the icon that we are using. Then some space, and now let's create the title for the categories. So I have created the categories. Text is select category with the title medium, then some space, and we're going to use this wrap again. So whenever it is going to reach to the limit in the horizontal space, it is going to add the next line automatically. So for that, we are going to use the children's, currently static children's, padding to add space, and then T choice chip. Text is shoes, selected is true, on selected is null. So this is the choice chip widget that we created while working with our e-commerce product details screen, if you remember. So this is a simple using theme widget to add the transparent color. Then we have a choice chip, and you can get the same tutorial widget, or you can view this for our e-commerce app tutorials where we're going to design the product detail screen. So these are the details that we added to create our choice chip. Currently it is static, it is not going to change because we are not passing any dynamic data. So we have two static categories, shoes and tracksuits. After that, we need to add the image uploader and feature checkbox. So add some space first. Then in the T images uploader, we have width and height 80 cross 80. We have image type is asset, and on icon button press is currently not doing anything. It is a simple widget that I have created using a stack so that we can place a small icon, and we can only place that icon using stack widget. So on top of that image, first of all, we are going to display the image as either if you want to display circular or rounded. So we have two options. Then in the position widget, we are going to use the T circular icon to place the icon. And also we have its on press, on icon pressed. Whenever it is going to be pressed, we are going to display the media section, and from there we are going to fetch the image and display image on top of this circular image or inside this T-rounded image. Then we are going to add the checkbox and a button. Okay, so checkbox is the checkbox which a menu button value is true. Again, it is a static now, but we're going to make it dynamic, and then some space. After that, we have a button size box. I'm going to take all the available space of this form, which is 500. Elevated button, text is create, then some space at the end, and that's it. So the form is created, which is create brand form, and the same form we are going to use for our edit brand screen. So instead of create brand, make it edit brand. The rest of the things are for the time being same. So also make this button to update. Let's change from edit to update as well. So we have the same form for the edit and create, and the same design for our edit brand layout. So just we have to change the create to update, and over here again I think I forgot to add the back arrow again over here. So let's add that, the same form we are using, and now let's try to test it. Let's save the code. Let's open the brands and click on create new brand. And in here, you can see we have, I think we just duplicate these two things. Go to the create brand, and yes, we have two images uploader here. Okay, now you can see the brand name. Then we have two categories. They are static, cannot change the state. We have the image over here with the icon button. Again, we will click on this and see the media to select the image. The selected image will display over here, and this is the feature checkbox. Then we have the create button, and we have the back arrow for our breadcrumb. Let's click on it. You can see all the brands. We can also click on this edit button, and we have the error type string is not a subtype of brand model. Okay. So this error is related to the same error we have seen in the previous tutorial. In the edit brand, you can see I'm receiving the brand from the arguments, right? This means that we are going to expect a brand that we are going to pass to all the screens, because whenever we are going to edit the brand, in that case, we have to pass the selected brand to edit screen, right? So this is the edit brand screen. It is expecting a brand, so don't worry about it. We are going to cover this point in detail when we're going to create the backend video, but for now, let's call the brand model and make all the required elements empty. So this is just not going to receive the string, because if you see all the brands in the table source down below over here, when we are going to call the edit brand from our action buttons in the table cell, it is going to call the edit brand, and also it is passing the arguments. So it is going to pass the complete brand as an argument, because in the main screen we are receiving over here previously using the dot arguments, which is the brand. So all these screens are expecting to receive a brand model, you can see, but I was passing string, as you can see over here. So string was passing, but the brand was receiving, so that was the issue. So let's save it. Okay, we are inside the brands. Let's click on this action button, and now you can see the update screen is working fine. We cannot see the selected brand because we have the dummy data so far. So let's go back. So this is what with the design. We have created the brand design. We have recently completed with the categories design. And now we want to create the banners design in the next tutorial. And after that, we have 3 screens left. Once the design is completed, we are going to start adding the backend one by one. So we are near to complete our admin panel. Stay tuned. And if you're new, you can watch the previous videos. You can also download the complete code. Link is in the description. Once again, thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, you can ask me in the comments, and take care.